Hello, dear viewer. You are on the channel of Momoya Technologies, and that's, if my memory is correct, the fourth episode in the series of podcasts with the tech CEOs on topic of AI implementation in IT companies. Today, as a guest, we have Max Krzyzanowski from Moz Creative, the company which is providing IT services for over 20 years. Almost as much as I have years in my age, and I'm sure that we are gonna get incredible amount of insights and have an interesting discussion with Max. Both Maxes. Okay, thank you. Now I'm shutting up and just asking Max to introduce himself and how are you? Where are you calling from? And whatever.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for contacting. I'm Max, as you mentioned, the CEO and founder of Moz Creative. We've been in business, even though it's just 20 years. Actually, what we're doing now was a little shorter time frame because there's a certain point where we're doing one thing and then pivoting.
But I'm still older.
Else. Yeah, you're still older. You're still beating by the number, yeah. But I am currently in Alexandria, Virginia, in the United States. What was the other question? Where I'm calling from? What was the other question?
Anything you would love to say at the beginning, if there is?
We're been in business for a while. We're a software development and digital agency, so we work with clients on their full journey from start to finish of either creating, designing, and building, managing, and supporting their application, web mobile application, their product. So our process kind of includes 6 different steps: planning, design, development, maintenance and launch, maintenance, support, and marketing. Some come to us for the full journey, some come to us for part of the journey, and then expand into other parts of services that we offer. We work with a lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs that just even at idea stage, and then also we have several very well established companies that are scaling up. So the mentality is growth. If you have growth mentality, we're very interested in working with companies with growth mentality.
Well, I assume that's one of the most important things, because as long as you are in the right frame of mind, everything seems to just fall into place. Thank you very much for introduction. Actually, viewers, you are able to learn more about Max and LinkedIn and Moz Creative by keeping watching this podcast, obviously, and also by following the top links in the description. And finally, we can start with the first question of this interview, and it's gonna be a bit unexpected. It's actually not tech related at all. I'm just curious, what is one hobby or interest you have outside of the tech world that really energizes you?
Oh, that's a good question. It's actually good to start off from something completely different. I like it. I do a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I would say that's my hobby, to just get away. And as I tell people, I could have the most stressful day in the world. When I go to train and you have a good training session, right? I completely, whatever that thoughts, stress, anxiety, whatever you want to call it, just completely leaves and stays on the mat. I guess it sweats out, comes out with the sweat. It's my therapy. It is completely like I'm telling you. I've noticed before. I had a situation one time a while back, and I went to train, and after I finished the session, I left. I was like, wow, I feel so much better. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, it would have just been thoughts would have been living in my mind, and I've been thinking about crazy things, you know. So that's my therapy. It's my hobby,
Hmm.
but it's my therapy as well. And it's, I love the sport.
For how many years have you already been practicing? What's your belt?
I've been doing this for 21 years.
Wow.
Everything's around the 20. Everything's
Hmm.
around the 21.
Hmm.
I played soccer very competitively for a while, and then at a certain point, I got into jiu-jitsu. Well, I got into like mixed martial arts, but jiu-jitsu I really got into, and you know, I just fell in love with the sport. And it's kind of like business, you know. It's very like chess type of mentality driven.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't wanna make this about me. I have been practicing boxing for about a year and a half now, and
The sport.
actually the jiu-jitsu, um, the room where the guys are practicing jiu-jitsu is just next door, and mm, I always see them smiling, sometimes with bruises, but still smiling. So I
Yeah.
think I kinda understand the effect you describe you get from this kind of trainings. Hmm.
Yeah. It's boxing is a great sport. I love boxing. I've boxed for a little bit of time as well. Love boxing. Love the physical side of it. The stamina. It's great sport. But yeah, jiu-jitsu is very very different. Obviously, boxing is all stand up. Jiu-jitsu is mostly there's stand up, but most of the time you're gonna end up on the floor.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and now we're we have been talking about big numbers, usually around 20, but let's get back in the past. And I have read that you moved to the US at a young age and eventually started Most Creative. So, what was young Max imagining the world like, and what were, if there were any, plans for the future?
yeah, that's a good question. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur or like something to do with business that would have some kind of growth. Definitely always very curious. I'm like, oh, what if we do this? What if we do that? So that was kind of, I think, it's part of my core. You know, so I started in business very very young. I've actually back in Ukraine. I used to have like a couple, got friends together, got a couple of guys together. We used to watch Cars. That was kind of like the initial kickoff, I should say. Um, and I would go with my parents also on like markets, sell stuff because they would travel, they would bring stuff. So that was another thing that I would do with them. But yeah, I always knew something entrepreneurship. I just didn't know what that meant exactly, or what it would look like, or where it would lead me. I did not start or see my journey being in software development or the digital marketing world. I'm glad I'm here. I like it a lot, for sure. Love, the innovation that's in the marketplace. Love that you're dealing with a lot of really smart people that are trying to solve some problems. Sometimes some problems and solutions make more sense than others, but I do like that interaction for sure and that whole process. It is obviously moves very quickly, so I mean, what you might have had yesterday might have been, especially now with AI, might be very different in a week or even even less time. So that is, it's very fast-paced space. So what I wanted to do initially was actually what I went to college for. I wanted to be in the investment world. Again, also investment world something to do with business, entrepreneurships, but more on the investment side. And it's just kind of opportunity presented itself, and never looked back.
Hmm. So, so you rather had just that aspiration to be entrepreneur, and there was no some particular thing where like I will be what could be some entrepreneurial kind of. You just wanted to create things rather than working for someone, and that was your, I guess, main just desire at that young age.
Yes, never really saw myself working for somebody else. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go work for somebody. And I knew if I even would have ended up at a company, I think I would have tried to make sure that I was able to progress. But that is, like I said, at a young age, I was like, let me try this. I can always go back to the corporate world. Um, and actually, when I was finishing college, I got offered a job where I was interning at an investment company. And my mom was like, why aren't you going to take it? This is a big corporation. I was like, wow, listen, I can always come back to this. This is nothing. That's not, I'm sure that's not, right now I have no, at that point I had no kids, no family. So it was a very different, easier decision. Um, Maybe it would have been different now. I don't know, but I'm glad I took that leap of faith.
Mm-hmm. I think it paid off pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
it's been good. It's been good. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, there's always been challenges. Challenges as I remember when we actually had a business partner, and we were talking to somebody at one point, and they're like, well, when does it get easier? They're like, well, from year 1 to 5, you're gonna have one set of challenges. From 5 to 10, you're gonna have a different set of challenges. From 10 to 15, you're gonna have a different set of challenges, and so on. So it's kind of like 5-year windows, which was very
Mm.
interesting to hear. And I think the person was very, very right.
Uh-huh. And can you confirm that this time frame of each stage is 5 years, or maybe in your experience it's longer, shorter?
I guess that's more of like a easier way just to round it to 5 years.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
been definitely probably sometimes 3 years, sometimes 6 years. So on average, I would say probably 5 is a fair number
Mm-hmm.
to put forward.
Got it. Why most creative? Is there is some hidden meaning behind particularly first part MOS or
Uh, so we used to have a company called Maximum Office Solutions, which was the original company name, which was in a different space. That's where we originally started. That's what I'm saying. It's a little less time that MLS Creative's been around. But Maximum Office Solutions has been around for about 20 years at this point. And yeah, we were in a print management world, like printers, copiers, faxes, and toner
Mhm.
cartridges. So very different space. And then we decided to start creative division. Specifically at that point, it wasn't really like apps. It was web design and development and digital marketing. So we said, well, we could cut shorter Maximum Office Solutions MOS, right?
Yeah.
And it would be MOS Creative, so the creative division. That's how we actually initially, like I said, I had a business partner, a friend of mine, and we were going to divide them by different divisions, like if
Uh-huh.
we were going to
Yeah.
offer additional stuff. So that's how we ended up with MOS Creative, and then
Mm-hmm.
stuck with the name. And some people ask, I don't know, MOS actually is a term also in the military. Obviously, there's also a rapper by the name of Mos Def. Some people ask if Mos Def is our spokesperson, which he's not. Maybe if Mos Def hears us, maybe he'll become one. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, that's how we ended up with the name.
Yeah, I just pointed that he can find more information about you by
Right,
following the
exactly.
links.
Can you imagine? That would be something else. Mos Def reaches out. Hey, I heard. that would be funny. I like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So moving closer to the main part of this podcast, actually, in this conversation, I'd love to cover a bit of your role at Moz Creative, the trends you're seeing in the industry, and what's working or not in the business, how you are integrating AI in your internal processes, or how you perhaps integrate it into the offers you present to your clients, and essentially the first question should be from, as I think will be the most interesting part for our majority of viewership who are business owners. How do you utilize AI to save time and perhaps increase profit margins in terms of optimizing operations within Moz Creative?
You broke up in the middle. Say that one more time.
Yeah, how do you use AI inside of Moz Creative?
Okay. I mean, I'm trying to use AI in every possible way. We're using AI from process of, okay, if we're working on some ideas, what ideas might be good, might be bad, right? We're using them for operational purposes, meaning if we're creating some documentation, we are using AI to capture our calls, break it down into specific tasks, be able to also set up those tasks in our project management platform, and from this information that's been recorded from phone calls across the team with clients, let's say for example, we are able to now have a library of what has been discussed to also then potentially use it for contract if needed, a proposal, a review of what has been done or what is going to be done. So it's saving a lot of time just even from that side, because that's manual time that a project manager would have to input into the project management tool, when now we can AI do that. That's one way. The other way is we're definitely using it for when we're planning a project. We're using it just to make sure things are not missed of what features or things that could be important for functionality could be also used. So just kind of like more an assistant for project managers. Like, hey, this could also be valuable part of this application that we're developing or software that we're developing, right? We're also using it just to see if there's any type of hurdles or bottlenecks within the process of project manager assigning specific tasks, or sprints to the developer or to the designer, So just being aware of, hey, you might have an issue here, here's why, here's what you should consider. So it's kind of like giving feedback, but improving the operational side and the flow of intake, information intake to output, and speeding up the process, right? And hopefully it's smoother. I mean, the goal is obviously to save time so the projects can be finished quicker, smoother, with less issues. What else are we doing? Are we using it for? For SEO purposes, we're using it to check, to see if any of the websites that we're managing or releasing have issues and what needs to be updated. So it doesn't have to be manually done. It could speed up the process, and it could be on a constant update. Here's what's going on. Here's what needs to be done. Here's what could be improved. So yeah, we're using it. It's different tools, which is obviously works. It'd be great if there's just one tool that's able to, you have a project manager that's able to, kind of like as an AI agent would be able to, or maybe several AI agents in different departments, they'll be able to take care of those tasks. That would be the ideal situation. And I think at a certain point, we're going to look at try to develop it for ourselves. And honestly, one of the things that I want to do is, once we prove it for ourselves that it works, to offer things like that to clients potentially as well. because if we can, I mean, already developing software for them or apps to help them optimize and grow their business. This is just part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
I just when you immediately started saying that you use AI to handle the transcripts of calls, I just smiled because you are the fourth person I'm interviewing in this series of podcasts, and absolutely every single one has begun with this feature. I just
Yeah.
and I actually remember that Robbie Francis, my first guest, he even mentioned that at ePossibility they have automated the process of social media content creation. So they have call within the team, and then if AI detects from transcript some interesting insight, I am not sure what is the exact prompt, but I guess that it is optimized for what they want to present to the public, and if AI detects something worth creating a post about, then it writes the post. I assume also validates the post, then post it across different channels, and that's not related to social media, but also forms emails and sends them out to those who need to be informed about something. So
Interesting. Well, yeah. I
that's
mean,
pretty cool.
we haven't gotten there yet. I mean, I do use a couple of really cool AI tools for content creation, which kind of speaks in my voice, which a lot better than just regular ChatGPT. You know, but that's interesting that it automates from, because obviously, yeah. I mean, that's I think one of the things that a lot of people miss. In internal meetings and client meetings, there's always some really good information that's being talked about, right? Like you could
Mm-hmm.
definitely create content from that, and I think we don't utilize that enough. Um, like just across the board. I'm not talking about just me specifically, but just across the board. But but it has its own challenges because like I remember one time I told my team, I said, you know what, I think we should record our calls and see specifically to this. This was a while back. We should record our calls and see if part of the calls like get some snippets to be able to use it as social media content. A couple of my
Ooh.
project managers were like, "You gotta let us know if you do this so we can prepare ourselves." You know,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Okay, I got you." So it's gonna, so yeah, you gotta be, you gotta be seen by a lot of people. You gotta be prepared. So, but that could work. Totally could work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that it never came to my mind that you are able to also automate the process of you can potentially automate the process of extracting certain chunks of the long video of the meeting, let's say 40 minutes, and then have
Yeah.
those shorts maybe not immediately posted, but at least drafts created so you can take a look at them.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's some stuff sometimes you talk about like, oh wow, this is good stuff. This is good, and like obviously, then you think about it. What did I just say to rephrase it or to recreate it? It's not
Uh-huh.
it's not as genuine, but recording it, and especially if there's AI, is like, oh, this is good. That actually, that's really. I wonder what they're using. Did they tell you what they're using?
Um, well, they did not, but I will say after working over 20 projects on Upwork for AI automation, that's ridiculous how much you can do with low or no code tools. So
Oh yeah,
the
that's true.
entry barrier now is I wouldn't say very low, because it does take time and certain amount of processing power to learn these tools.
Sure.
Yet
Sure.
I'm sure that oh, everyone can. I remember Sam Altman said that in their founders chat they have bet who is gonna be the first one-person billion-dollar company. I am absolutely sure that it will happen in my lifetime because
Yeah.
because AI is getting only smarter and hopefully people do as well. So together, maybe one person one day will be
I feel
able
like
to.
I feel like with people using AI for everything, it's actually, and I hope I'm wrong, but it's actually making people a little dumber because you're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're just like, oh, well, AI is gonna think for me, right? And then AI hallucinates, and then you're like, oh, okay, this works. So I hope
Mm.
it's making people smarter. I mean, it's definitely improving the time from start to finish for sure. Which is, I mean, it's amazing. Some of the manual tasks that you would have to do. AI completely takes that out of it, which is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it would be one person company that could be unicorn. I think it would have to be at least like still, like certain, like maybe three, four, that would make more sense. But hey, who knows? I mean, I guess anything's possible. If you got somebody that's really, really good understanding how to use AI to code, and then another one for marketing, another one for operations, yeah, that's very possible, I think.
It would be the Fantastic Four in the real life, like
Fantastic for real life.
superheroes. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Mm, and and do you so we have talked about how most creative uses AI in the internal processes. Do you offer? You mentioned that you consider offering AI for your clients, but have you already done that, or still only considering?
No, we have done included in certain projects that were specific that needed AI for that project, or there was a need for it. Not every project is getting AI as of this moment because there's a lot of options also obviously for AI. So you have to understand like which one do you want to use specifically for project A or project B. Um, but especially if it's like a MVP that's been getting released, unless there's like immediate need for AI, we don't usually release it with AI. Because AI is good, but there's still going to be certain things that it might miss. So unless there's a proven AI with API for that type of use case, right?
Mm-hmm.
I, like we wouldn't just offer it just to offer it, but like, oh, let's just include AI because it's the hottest new thing in the market. But yeah, we have done projects with AI, search tools, um, customer service applications, that type of stuff. Marketplaces, we've had a AI project where the application itself was using several AI models, and instead of going to different ones as a user, you can go to one, and you can customize of what you wanted to see from which models, right?
Uh huh.
That was
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
easier way for somebody to be like, well, I can just get it here, and then once I get the answers I'm looking for, I can choose one, like out of several of them, which one's the best answer, and I can continue the conversation within that specific model within one tool.
Mm. That's uh,
So
that's that's interesting. When I use ChatGPT, sometimes I get two responses to one prompt at the same
yes,
time, but that's still the same model. However, you have developed the app which does the similar thing, however, using different models. So it's not just modifying the way of response, but rather the brains behind it, the model used.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, yeah. So it's this was developed for a client for them to test, see how people respond to it. So hopefully there's going to be a lot more development. I think at a certain point they want to develop the product a lot more. But right now we just developed the MVP for them to test.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I
So we'll
I'm
see.
absolutely sure that that's gonna be success because even though from my experience, even though models all mainstream models from Claude, OpenAI, Sonar from Perplexity, all of them are intelligent enough to provide meaningful responses, but it's obvious that Claude is better at writing. OpenAI, let's say, all serious models are better at more accurate tasks, and when you are just living in this informational space, it's sort of obvious to you. But for someone who just wants get things done, it will be super valuable to be able to
That's true.
send the request and then see, oh, okay, I need to write the article, Claude, whatever it means. I just try to be in the position of the person who isn't that interested in AI. Ah, Claude. Oh, I like the way it wrote. Let's continue with it, and yeah, it will save time and mm, improve the results the person is gonna get at the end, because there is a chance to get this litmus test at the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. I agree.
Mhm. Alrighty, and so Most Creative has evolved quite a bit since it started, and from toner cartridges to a full digital agency. Do how does experience in this different kind of business shaped the way you operate now in this more digital environment?
Yeah. A lot of trial and error, a lot of learning.
Mm.
Obviously, it was a very different space that we were in, and it's evolved a lot. But you just have to be confident enough to take a leap and try new things. It's, I mean, experience. Comes with like I said, trial and error, but also confidence. You got to be confident to be able to take the chance to try, right? Because like AI is new, right? People are like, oh, but they're developed with AI. Well, they were confident enough to be able to try it, to figure out how to make it better or how to learn from it, right? So it's not like they've been doing this for them, meaning like let's say another company, another person, another developer. So you just have to be confident to be able to do it. There's going to be mistakes. Just got to learn from the mistakes. So I wouldn't say experience was exactly, um, I so experience from being in one type of company, different industry. I mean, experience is experience, right? You have to understand people who you're dealing with, because we're still dealing with people, right? Outside of all the technology that we build or AI, it's still human to human, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So you gotta understand who you're working with and who they're trying to provide a solution for. What exactly is
yeah.
this human looking for, and why would they care, right? Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if you're building website, application, doing SEO, doing, paid ads, creating social media content. You are speaking to and providing a solution for a certain type of audience. It could be broader, but let's say if you're providing a solution to that audience, they care about a certain thing that make their lives easier, uh, you know, uh, smoother, quicker, more pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what I learned through my experience, because I had to build a lot of my own confidence, right? Like I jumped in this tech world. I mean, I wasn't like a software engineer myself, you know, but it always interested me. I did take some computer science classes back in high school, but it did interest me. Computer science, software development always was very interesting to me. Not that like I said, I wasn't really focused on going that direction. I'm glad it happened. and I love it. But it wasn't from the start of my journey. I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of confidence that needed to be built from my perspective. I needed to be like, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to sound old or anything, but like, how people, like older, especially like maybe some of our parents and grandparents, are like, if I press this, am I going to delete everything? No,
Uh,
you're not going to delete all of it. You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but like when you're, again, that's from the front, from the user side, from the front end, right? But
Mhm.
when you're trying new type of technologies and they have to work together and there's all the data involved, right? There's layers of it. To understand, like, am I going to mess anything up for myself? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's certain things that, like I said, I had to build confidence myself for it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you had to be a bit delusional at the beginning to just step into what you didn't have any experience in, or you sort of just went with the flow of learning without that mantra like, oh no, I already know this, fake it till you make it, or what was your mindset at the beginning?
There was definitely problems in faking until you make it, for sure.
Mm.
I don't think it's a bad thing, right? That like you have to feel it and live it. If you're gonna offer it, right, you gotta believe what you're doing. So
Obviously.
faking it until you make it, you just gotta believe into it. If you believe into it, you believe it's the right solution, you believe it's the right answer, you believe it's the right product, then that becomes more of a natural expression, not some BS. That you're trying to like sell something to somebody that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I totally, I'm sure I faked it till I make it at a certain point. But then again, I had to try it. I had to experience it. I failed probably several times. Probably gonna fail several more going forward. But once you understand what it is and what it can do, right? Either for ourselves, for MLH Creative, or for a client, then you feel a lot more comfortable with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So at first you have usually just this passion and certain belief that it will work out, and then having this positive attitude plus the actual competence makes real value created, because you both are
Correct.
able to show the people that we will make your life or some process in your life quicker, easier, smoother, and you actually have the competence to do this. So yeah.
Yeah. Or,
Nice.
not even just their life, but like for their business, right? Which is obviously in
Yeah.
turn is going to affect their life in a more
Yeah.
positive way. Yeah, I mean, it's, and obviously, just the same way when they see, if you believe it, right? If you have that positivity about it and the confidence I think is like one of the most important, uh, um, emotional feelings, or one of the most important emotions that you can show, right? You shouldn't be too overconfident, just to make sure that actually what you're offering or what you're doing and how you're gonna get there. But the confidence, that's it's when somebody sees it in your eyes and the way that you express yourself, it's believable,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's very, very important.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that the way our, especially subconscious part of our mind works, it just tunes out something which doesn't seem real. So perhaps we do not even get to the point where we acknowledge that someone saying that, I don't know, I will solve this problem for you. No worries. But if it is, as you said, too confident. We do not. It's not even registered in our system. So perhaps in certain situations it's even strategically more beneficial to throw in some doubts. I don't know. It's just what comes to my mind. Because with AI, it seems like you are able to sometimes create absolute wonders. So when you see that some, let's say, $100,000 per year of jobs are really automated with AI, isn't it a wonder? But most of the people would not believe this, so you rather say, yeah, it will supplement the existing processes. Actually, it can totally replace them, but it will streamline the existing procedures. Yeah, even though you know that it will perhaps in 5 years it will automate the complete departments. I don't know, but I'm sure that for digital companies, like most creative is, this kind of future is only beneficial, because you will be able to deliver projects to your clients faster, at greater capacity, and kind of solutions which you will offer will be of the just other level of magnitude. So not just automate certain part of the business, but perhaps automate almost the whole thing. And actually I think we are going we are very smoothly transitioning to the part where we will talk more about Most Creative in particular. Where do you see this company being in 5 years from now, considering the way technologies are booming?
That's a good question. In 5 years, I would see the company. Well, obviously, I want to make sure the company grows, but that's just one part of the overall plan. But what do I want to see? Well, I want the company. My goal is not to just build products for clients, but also build some products that we can be partnered in. Okay, so we build as a strategic partner, right? And then we've done, and I've done this before. I would have been a partner, it didn't work out as I was hoping it was going to work out. But it is possible to have these strategic type of partnerships where, we're working with a client that comes to us. If it's the right type of client, the right type of project, or the right type of business they're trying to start, and then we help to build them, because obviously we can handle everything in-house. We help to build them, and then either we specifically have a resource team for that project, for that company, or it goes on its own, right? And then we're more of a strategic partner, or we get bought out from that stage. So that's one of the things that I've been kind of looking into as well, and have been doing with some of our clients. Only strategic clients, because I've tried this in the past a while back, and some of it didn't work out very well. Because you have so many factors involved with the people that are going to be running the company. I mean, I'm not involved on a day-to-day basis, so it has to be the right, like I said, the right individual, right type of idea, the right type of business, the right type of plan. Not just like, oh, here's an idea. It's going to be $1 billion idea. Okay.
One person business, $1 billion idea. Yeah.
One person business. Yeah. So that's one of the, and at a certain point, honestly, I don't know if it's 5 years, but maybe 10 years. At a certain point, I'll probably look into selling the company as well. So I don't know if it's going to be 5 years or later. But that's kind of, I haven't really like specifically positioned in my head exactly how long. I mean, because I love it. I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. There's challenges. It's not only sunshine and smiles, but sometimes those challenges, man, they make me work so much better. I wish they wouldn't be there, but they do make you focus, right? Like changes in life and challenges in business, they really make you be more strategic and have like, okay, hold on a second, I gotta be more efficient and effective in terms of what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm just like, oh, let me just spend some time on this. So AI thinking, AI thinking, right? How do I produce more effectively and efficiently a better outcome? Like for example, in changes in life, like before I was like, okay, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, here's what I'm trying to get at by this age. And once you get married, once you have kids, you gotta like really speed it up. So as you're speeding up the process, right, you start making maybe better decisions,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you get to the result that you're trying to get to. Not even just a personal level, because I try to separate my personal, like what I'm trying to accomplish to what the company accomplishes, because the company, it's not just me. I have really good employees that I want to make sure are, also growing with the company as well. And as the company grows, I want them to grow. So that's what I mean by this. If that makes sense. I don't know. I just said a whole bunch of stuff. So hopefully it makes sense.
Don't worry, AI will analyze everything after the meeting. Yeah, yeah, it totally makes sense, and eventually you wanna get involved with investment funds, but from the other side of the equation, not the investor, but rather the one who in whom you are being invested. Yeah.
Correct.
Well, not invested. It's gonna be acquisition. Yeah.
Acquired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Cool. I have just yesterday watched it just well, surely I'm the person to evaluate your plans, of course, but I have just yesterday watched the video of Alex Hormozy, his podcast, and he mentioned that as he exited his first big company, Gym Launch, he essentially focused only on one thing: is growing the existing businesses by removing all bottlenecks and that's a shame. Removing all bottlenecks and just increasing their annual profits. And the interesting thing is that the difference in valuation of the company, which makes $3 million in profit per year and $5 million profit per year, is I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like $3 million in profit per year is something like $15 million. So that's the valuation of the company. Meanwhile, $5 million per year is something like 80 millions. So,
oh,
yeah.
What kind of company was he referring, or was he talking about?
Well, his main business is acquisition.com. They help gym businesses scale, and as I assume they eventually acquire them. They acquire them, so the businesses which already make a certain kind of revenue, they have their benchmarks, then they upgrade those businesses and sell them to, I guess, equity firms or some private funds who essentially have their business in mind. Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting. Alex Hormozy, he's a smart guy. Definitely achieved a lot, for sure.
Yep. That's what I can't disagree with. And I also would love to ask, actually this question is not on my agenda. It just came up in my mind. How do you motivate your team? Is financial incentive enough, or do you think it's really important to have a certain particular vision and goal clearly conveyed to your team, so that you are sure that they are locked in when working?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that financial uh, motivation is always enough. Is always enough. It's good. Everybody likes to get a bonus or reach some kind of milestones or goals and get, financially a, a monetary bonus for it. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I try to be very clear with my team where we're heading. I could probably do better. I mean, I'm a person who always believes that we can do better. I can do better in what I'm doing. Um, Maybe certain things I communicate better than others. Because like I try to over communicate, but sometimes things when you're over communicating as well, things can get lost in translation because it's too much, right? So just be clear and concise. So yeah, I try to be as specific as possible. Here's where we're heading. Here's the goal. Here's what you could accomplish. Here's where you could be. Um, and then obviously, yeah, bonuses and uh, anything with money is always a good to be able to give to your team as well because they deserve it. They do the work, and if they're doing their work well, at the same time, work has to be done well, right? It shouldn't be just like, well, do your job and you get an additional bonus. Achieve good results, have a happy client, send us more business, continue the project, refer us, then get a bonus. That's usually, how I try to position it. So yeah, that's I mean, several of my team members have been with me for a while.
Mm.
8 years, 5 years, 6 years. So it's not like it's
Oh
not.
yeah.
Majority of people is been with the company for a while. Not We usually don't have anyone for like a year or two unless something really has changed in their life. Which is good.
Mm.
I love it. I mean, it means a lot that you have good people that are sticking with you because they believe in. We have also really good relationships. I think we're not just like, oh, how's the work? Has it done? Has it been complete? I just make sure we talk about the projects, move on. Like we have try to communicate that we have a relationship. Like, when people say like, oh, we're all family. I mean, we're work family. We're not really family, right? So there's got to be separation. There's business, there's work, and there's your family, obviously. But I think we have really good relationships. We're able to talk to each other, even about personal stuff, and I try to make sure that I am available and help overcome any problem and challenge, whatever that is. You know, um, and throughout years of being in business and working with different people, crazy stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
But we'll overcome it, and hopefully, it's made us as a better company, and it's made the person that had whatever going on better individual.
So, as I understand correctly, you would say that financial incentive is still very important, yet
For sure.
communication is not not less significant in the process of being on the
Communication is
same page
huge.
with the team. Hmm.
Yeah,
But
communication
not
is
over
huge.
communication.
I mean, you got to be able to communicate. Easy, hard, good, bad things. Got to be able to. Obviously, financial incentive is great because everybody wants to get more money. I mean, it's
Hmm.
understandable, right? I don't believe everything is about money because if you're only driven about money, that's just one side. You have to. It's hard to say like I was reading a book, The Atomic Habits, and it was very well said in the book that professional athletes, right, the ones that reach really the top, they're doing exactly the same thing as somebody that might have not reached that peak, but they have to know or they have to get used to doing it over and over and over, even when it's boring,
Hmm.
right? Like you're not gonna always love your job, right? It's just reality, right? You're not always gonna love what you do. There's gonna be really good moments, those peaks. There's gonna be moments like, gotta do this. Yeah. So I mean, it's reality, right? Like I wish it would always be like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about doing this specific time. It's not always going to be the case. If we can find that excitement within it, great. But some things are not going to be as exciting. Some things are going to be more exciting than others, you know? Or like if you're doing same type of work on a regular basis, it's good to switch it up once in a while. You know, do something different, right? So we try to make sure that we do that, and that we're very team driven, meaning like others, if somebody has availability and somebody has a lot of things need to be done, try to work kind of like across different projects so another person is able to come in and help as well. Just to not to stress the person out, but be like, hey, I got you, I'm able to support, I got some time, you know, so that type of communication, team communication, and expressing like, hey, I'm able to help you is very important.
I have nothing to add. I, I get what you mean, and we have a wonderful conversation. But as all things in life, this podcast is gonna end in about 5 minutes. Therefore, I would love to wrap up with unusual question. So, again, majority of the audience of this podcast are business owners, and you as a business owner, if you had the magic stick and you were able to implement AI into your business, but it could be only one feature, and already from tomorrow it would exist in your organization, what would it be?
One feature, one request for one feature with AI. I would probably say all the minuscule tasks that my project managers have to do to completely be automated by AI. So they would just be able to work with clients, lead clients, you know, make sure that they're capturing everything that's important and lead them in the right direction, right? So they don't have to do other stressful tasks that take time, right? But really focus on the big picture. That would be the most ideal situation.
Mm-hmm. So automating minuscule tasks, particularly those which are handled now by project managers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Leave in the comment section which answer would you provide to this kind of question, because that's very interesting, because AI has almost limitless amount of ways it can be implemented, but actually the business owners are people who mostly determine what exactly is automated, at least first. I highly believe that in certain amount of decades from now everything will be automated, but at least what kind of change we see in the next I assume 10 to 20 years, it's all about the decisions of decision makers and people who implement AI, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna say thank you for this wonderful conversation, and do you want to add anything? Do you want to maybe tell people where they can proceed if they wanna work with Most Creative, or somehow learn more?
Sure. If anybody wants to contact me, has questions about what we do or how we can help them grow, you can contact me through the website, moscreative.com. You can, the links below. You can also email me if needed, maxk@moscreative.com, or find me on LinkedIn. Very active on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And that gesture of mine meant that all these links and addresses are on the top of the description below. Just to clarify. Thank you very much, Max. It was a pleasure having you here, and I, of course, must mention that, dear viewer, you should press the like button, subscribe, press the bell button, and I have given you so many tasks. Perhaps if you do not do those, at least send it to your friend who you think would benefit from this immensely useful information we have shared in this podcast. Thank you, and see you in the next episodes.